curse my name, toss my clothes in the open flame. Another love comes.
Sup?
Hey.
Welcome back, huh? How y'all doing? It's been a good night. Good games. Great gameplay. Golden commentary by these two, not by me. I've just been having a good time watching the show. What about you? Have you been watching the show? I hope you have. I hope you're enjoying yourself. And if you are enjoying yourself, type 1 in chat. If you're not enjoying yourself, type 2. And if you want to give Skimmy a big old kiss on the lips, type 3, because you better believe I'm going to be typing 3.
Oh.
You're pretty lucky it's locked down.
Well, that's
Skimmy,
the reason we
all
live
I'm
so
saying.
close, mate. So maybe I'll nominate you as my chosen bubble person, and we'll work something out, mate. Don't you worry.
Maybe,
I think I signed up to be a third wheel tonight, but here we are.
Yeah, look, you're just in the middle. You're the one that keeping us apart, really, at this point. However, let's have a look at what you guys have been cooking up in the kitchen or in the lounge room, I think. I think is it Lothy? We've got Lothy here. Laura Bell just chilling, watching the show. A bit of Twitch chat on the side so she can see what you're all doing in Twitch chat as well. And enjoying, let's call it lemonade, huh? It's lemonade. Definitely lemonade on this PG show. Now, anything here? You want to say hi back, guys?
Hi. Hello.
Skimmy? Nah, Skimmy doesn't want to. That's all right.
Nah, he doesn't
I'm
want to say
shy.
hi.
I'm very shy.
He doesn't want to say hey, so,
Very
bit of a, sorry, Laura. You just found out that Skimmy actually really doesn't like you. So,
I actually belong
bit
to
of
Mac.
drama.
He's already confessed his love to me.
True. Very, very
Already
true.
happened.
Indeed. Someone else that I need to confess my love for is Gravitas. Let's talk Gravitas first here. It is going to be a damn good little battle between these two to round off the night. And we have, a Zeus in the jungle again. So, changing up the lineup. Thomas Shen there in the ADC role. Rusty, are you enjoying what you're seeing here on your screen?
I have no qualms with what I'm seeing. Safa is back is another thing that we have to talk about. He was subbed out last week, but Safa is, as far as this team is concerned, I do feel like he is the identity of them. He is the heart of the team. Kiyose definitely been playing out of his mind lately, but Safa is a large communicator, a large proponent of their shot calling, so to lose that may be something that hurt them. Zeus coming back in is perfectly fine. I do think that Akano is a very aggressive player that I enjoy, but if you've got your enchanters mid, maybe Zeus is someone more suited to that and can play around their top lane better.
Okay, and I guess we'll see how that one impacts, or how the patch rather impacts Gravitas. Once we get in, we'll have a discussion about that in a second, because now we need to talk about Peace and what this lineup is doing here, because they're using the same one as last week. It's not the main lineup with all the big star-studded names that you're used to seeing here. They're going to be using Tally in mid, Lisa in the jungle, Appy in top, Shayan in ADC, and Zingy down in the support role. And Skimmy, tell me why.
Good question, and I'm going to actually ask Midlord about this in just a moment, but talk about a vote of confidence, right? To say, look, boys, we've had to change up the roster a few times this split. It's been a bit crazy. We've got 4 games left. There's a big rush to the finish line, I believe. This 5-man roster is the goods. We're going to get it done, and me and Rusty were talking a little bit about this off-air before, that they currently have an 0-2 head-to-head against both Gravitas and Legacy, so all these games are a must-win right now for Peace. So to say this is the roster that's playing, it seems bewildering to us, right? You're looking at some of the games they play. Peace, for me, have the best run to those playoffs because they actually verse their direct competition. You look at the rest of the teams, they're going to be versing Pensnet. But every team is versing Mammoth, so that's why you're kind of starting to show with this whole idea of like a blue shell, banana, whatever it might be, because Mammoth really can cause some big upsets. So I think if Peace can't win this week, what a fall from the skies, what a fall from grace.
Well, Rusty, you want to take me through this run to playoffs? Which game is going to be the easiest and the hardest? Because at this point, I'm kind of lost too.
Well, I think in general, Peace's run is the easiest of the 3, right? They've got Mammoth tomorrow, who you would expect to be a win. Again, we need to form check Peace today, so we don't really know. And that's the big part of what today is, right? So we don't know if today's game is going to be easy or difficult for Peace. We don't know what type of Peace is going to show up other than the roster. But they've had an extra week with the same players, so perhaps they've developed further. And all we know is that they have mechanics. The one match that is hard for them is their 4th game, the final game, which is what it all could come down to, right? But the important part here for Peace, because they don't have head-to-head like Skimmy said. They have to stay 1 win ahead of everyone they're fighting for on the ladder if they want to make it, which means it's the hardest possible job for them. And they've still subbed in their substitute players. So there's a lot of questions that's left for us to ask.
Well, someone that can ask these questions and is very good at generally asking questions too is Nat T. So let's bring her back into the conversation. Nat, what's your take on this run of playoffs for Peace? And also, are you as surprised as I was that Tally said he'd never lost a game when he played mid lane, and last week he actually officially got his first loss in mid lane?
Yeah, I'll be very honest. I don't know Tally's history in mid lane, but the way he said it, I was confident in him because it was just radiating confidence. So we'll see if he's still just as confident today with it. But yeah, Peace's run looks very doable. I think it's very possible for them. But I guess I can jump into an interview, ask them some questions about it, because I will be joined by Lisa and Floppy. Thank you both so much for joining me. Lisa, it's so good to talk to you again. I want to ask how you're feeling and how you feeling coming back into the jungle role on Peace.
I'm feeling great. I miss everyone in LCO too. Like, I come back to the jungle, and I'm trying to help the team secure our last spot in playoffs. So I'm gonna get my job done.
That's so good to hear. How has prep and practice been going for you guys leading up to this week?
It's not bad. Like, we still have like a lot to improve, but like we're confident like this week we can take the dub here.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of changes might come through for you guys with a new patch coming in terms of how you're playing and the champ pool, or are you just going to stick to what you know?
I mean, we don't want to like do like that much of change. Like, we want to try to find our way like can like help us win. So we just want to stick to it.
That makes sense to me. Now, Floppy, over at Gravitas, you guys are in a similar boat. This win is very important for you, and you also have a roster change. So how are you feeling confidence-wise coming into this one?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I think 11-15 has been pretty good for Gravitas. So I'm excited to, get the back end of the split over. Well, I shouldn't say over, but underway, let's say. Because I really just want to know, like, this three-way tie between, three-way race between Peace, Legacy, and Gravitas. Like, I'm just very curious as to how it will end up, so I'm very keen to just get it underway.
Yeah, it has us all on the edges of our seat as well. I do want to know, you guys have won both previous games up against Peace. So what do you think is going to be your advantage to try and get another one today?
I think those, like, taking those wins and just saying, well, we've got the head-to-head, which means we're just going to win this one easily, it's not really like a good way to look at it, because they're a completely different roster now. But I do still have confidence in our team. I think drafting-wise, we have some good curveballs that we can throw at Peace, like we did last time in the Game 2 win. So, yeah, I'm just happy to start the game.
I look forward to it, and I will let you go so you can jump into the game. But thank you both so much for joining me, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully it all goes well for both of those players and they both get the win today. I'd love to see it because they're both so happy.
We've seen a tied gold in Olympics. Surely we can get a tied match in LCO, right?
Oh, of course. Anything can happen on Summoner's Rift. That's
Can't
what
believe
Jules
you
always
remind me
says.
the Olympics are on.
Wait,
Set
so
one rule before the show tonight.
what did you say? It was 10 p.m., so we're 9:04, so what are you looking for, Rusty? A
Dude, I
20-minute
walked
game?
out in the break and my family was like, "Did you see this?" And I was like, "No, stop
course
talking
not.
to me.
Clearly not.
I'm busy."
So you need a 20-minute
Wow.
game, a quick wrap-up, and then you're straight into the TV watching that. Gotcha,
Oh,
mate.
mate, absolutely.
You guys just aren't
Absolutely.
nerds at all, are you? I'm the only nerd here, and I sound like the least nerdy of the lot of us. Now, let's quickly jump into the predictions and have a quick chat about what's going down in this match, or at least what we think is going to go. Rusty, he's actually gone for the Gravitas pick. So, here's the microphone. Why?
Well, I don't think that Peace's recent form is anything to be happy about. Their last 8 games, they've won a single game, and that was against Mammoth. And I do think that Gravitas have plenty of ways to win the game, and I did have the luxury of making this decision after seeing the rosters max. So that's where my preferences have gone.
Okay. And Skimmy, why have you gone for Peace on the other side of the coin?
Look, mate, I've checked in the hype train. I believe, like, if this is a schedule to get you across the finish line, they have to do it, mate. How can you get to finals of Split 1, upgrade your team, come into this one and be struggling for 5th? Boys, I believe. Tally's in the mid lane. The man is a monster. I've seen him do it before. He needs to run it back.
And Nat, you haven't copied Rusty's prediction, even though, you know, he seems to think you're always copying his prediction. So why have you gone for Peace?
That was only game 1. But I've gone for Peace. Yeah, I don't know. I do want to see them, I guess, shift into another gear, put the pedal to the metal. Is that the same?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle, pedal to the metal,
Bobby.
away you go. No, I don't know. I think it is just one of those blind faith things, again, towards Peace. I think out of the two teams, Peace are more likely to be able to make changes quicker compared to Gravitas. And Gravitas we have seen also going on a downhill, I guess, trajectory. So it was a bit of a tight choice between the two.
Okay, well, it is dessert time, so if you want to feed your Uncle Bob, if you want to feed yourself, if you want to feed anyone else in your family, please, exclamation DoorDash in chat, follow the link and get yourself some lovely DoorDash for dessert or dinner, maybe if you're in WA. However, Champ Select's ready, so that's what I'm going to be eating. Put it on my plate, Rusty. Take it away.
Sure, man. We're putting burrito bowls on it, or? Oh, my choice. Yeah, absolutely. You're getting a pavlova then. I'll go out of my way for it.
Oh, here we go, Rusty. I am very excited for this one because we talk about it. Gravitas have the head-to-head, but they're a game behind currently. So every single game is even more important, as if the stakes weren't high enough already.
Exactly. If Gravitas win this, it's not tie on the standings. Gravitas are ahead of them on the standings, and then it becomes even more difficult for Peace. 4 games left for both of these teams, as it was for everyone today, Skimmy, but a very important first of those 4 here for Peace and Gravitas. And already through the draft phase, I would say Gravitas are the ones who have adapted, where Peace have gone for almost the expected, right?
Yeah, going back with the Viego again, we saw that a lot from Tally when he debuted in the top lane. We've not seen that from them in a fair few weeks, though, so very curious to see where this one will go, if it will be a Lisa special, given those changes. On 11-15, have looked to try and push him that direction. Rise has been locked in. We saw it played by Tally last time around, and it seems to be that these mid lane mages that have the ability to rotate are just a fraction stronger. But quickly, above everything else, I see an Akshan ban.
Yeah, Akshan banned away. Gravitas, clearly a team that's been playing it. That is, I guess, the most that we'll see of Akshan this week. And that is just a guess. We'll find out tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's going to be taken off the board. Peace have also picked their, I'm going to say their mid laner in Rise. Tally definitely is a Rise player. He's also a Viego player. And this game, actually, Skimmy, is the only one of the day where I think both Gwen and Viego were up. It has been banned, or one of them banned, the other one picked most of the day. So the first time we'll see an actual trade. And if there's one thing we can say about this, it is that Safa on Gwen is a nightmare to deal with, especially when your mid laner can play things like a Lulu to round out your comp.
I mean, just look at the match history. Look at the last 8 games that Gravitas have played on the top side of the map. It has been earlier Gwen, Aatrox, rinse and repeat, run it back every single time. He will be the star of the show, and we've seen him definitely die on the hill a few times, where if he's behind, the rest of the team kind of fall apart as well. But certainly, if he gets ahead, he can lead the line for his entire team. Now, what's interesting for me is the Varus locked in here for Jaeon. When Jubes was on the cast with me last time, he actually triggered my memory that this is a player that we'd actually cast way back in 2020 for the OCS, and he was a very, very good Varus. So if you can look to try and tap into some of that magic again, he might be the little bit of spice that they need, the magic, to get them across here.
Yeah, if there's one thing we can say about Peace's bottom lane, it is mechanics. They have got mechanics. They seemed, from their first game as well, and that has continued, that the nerves weren't affecting them for being on a stage game or anything like that. They were just solid. The issue is, and it's always going to be an issue, the 2 players that have currently been subbed out of this roster are Babip and Violet, and shoes to fill, you've never seen any bigger, right?
No.
For names alone. So, you know, no matter what we say about them, we'll try and compliment them, and if they win, that's fantastic. But at the same time, and the whole time, we'll be thinking about who they have replaced, which does just leave that mark in your mind.
Referring your mind back to that last time they played, it was Violet playing the Kalista, and had a huge lead into Thomas Shen, but it was shut down much in part to the competition as a whole. But they had the Tarek too, so some heads-up play here to not look to try and fall victim to that once again. Bobby's Bruce is banned away, and then the grand reveal as to where this Gwen will be going, because Nocturne still can flex. As the Kali is the final pick here for Peace. A lot of aggression, a lot of ways for them to proc that passive to lock and place a stun. How do Gravitas ran this one out to try and find the edge?
The Leona is a pretty crucial pick for them as a composition overall. Syndra is actually going to be the champion of choice. Now, we know that Gravitas can put their Nocturne jungle, so that's not something that's massively surprising for us. The Syndra pick, we spoke about this at the top of the day, so if anyone missed that, shame on you, but Syndra's actually quite good in solo lane as well as bot lane now due to the reduced mana cost on the Q. I would say personally more preferred in mid, and he also knew his matchup into the Rise, so we'll be able to harass, we'll be able to poke, and Safa gets his, I'm going to say, signature pick, barring the Camille at this point, which is always banned from him, of the Gwen.
And it was the pick that really, spoiled the party last time for Peace, right? We had Babbitt well ahead in that game as the Hecarim. Went one gank too many, perhaps you'd have to say, top side, and fell victim to it, and ultimately made Safa finish the game 6-1 and 4. It's going to be a Viego in the jungle, so that seems to be a little bit more on point for what we've seen with this patch, as it will be Appy running it back as the Akali. So going to be a very, you'd say explosive AP topside to really try and find themselves an edge, and as a result, find TP advantages to influence elsewhere.
Yeah, massively. A lot of this for me is about the jungle matchup specifically, right? We spoke about Viego being pushed to that role. Nocturne is one of those hard farm champions, so if lanes sit stable, I think both solo laners are pretty content with that because they are both going to be slow scaling and ramp up champions. But that does, to me, mean that a bit more priority would be belonging to the Gravitas roster through their lanes. And I'm very curious to see how that plays out. And if we see something aggressive from the Zeus, right, knowing that his lanes have that prio, level 1 always a possibility as well with a Brawl.
First Syndra in mid lane though, Rusty. That's what we're excited about because we've seen it come back and through. It's been flexed in the bot lane, but it's back where it truly belongs. We know that Kiyose is very good at the mages. He's not just the enchanter, although he might want you to believe that. He certainly can get it done on your stereotypical AP mage and do big damage. He's going to have a big task on his shoulders here today because both these teams are fighting for that final spot. Only 5 teams can make it through to the playoffs. And what a way to say a schedule that really culminates to finalize this night with a game that could really have big consequences on it.
A game that means the most. Definitely one way to look at this one. A lot on the line for both of these teams. Peace, you'd say, getting very close to that do or die moment, and the standings implications from this single game alone are going to be significant for both of these respective teams. Looking at Cheon, looking at Zingy, seeing how they're going to perform against Floppy and Thomas Shen. This bottom lane is a very volatile place, and I do think that this may be the one of the times where they don't get hard punish Skimmy like we've perhaps seen before.
Well, let's see what happens in this game. I've got Midlord on standby, ready to talk to, and I must ask, mate, it's a must-win game. But how's everybody feeling with only 4 games left to go?
We should win this game for sure, right? Like we need to win a lot, most of the games, the last 4 games.
Yeah, the pressure is seriously mounting.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I suppose to that point then, can you explain the decision to stick with the same lineup as last week? We've seen lots of roster shuffles, but why this team?
Oh yeah, because they had good performances when they are against the Wolves, and I think if they got more experience, they can keep doing better.
Do we expect to, or is it too early to say at this stage? Do we expect to see this team still going forward?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, well on a final note then, new patch, new ideas. We've seen a lot of variation already here today. What do you think about your draft for 11-15?
It's hard to say because we need to ban the champion action and we didn't practice it before. It's really hard to say because the champion just jump in this week and will be banned next week. I'm just so confused about that.
It just makes your life a little bit harder, but maybe it's a few more chapters you can write in your book there, Draft Lords. Look, mate, I'm going to leave you to it. I'll let you focus on the game and get yourself strapped in, because this should be a banger.
Sure.
He's in good moods, isn't he, Rusty? I can hear him laughing away, mate. I'm smiling for him.
Yeah, he's definitely got the giggles talking about his draft and this patch in general. We should quickly talk about top lane, though, before we go anywhere else. There was, I believe, a leash start for the Akali for Lisa, and Appy missed the first 3 minions of experience in literally just a 1v1. So if you're sitting topside, actually, we might have to hold this for Kyosei mid.
Stun connects from Tally. Now in comes Lisa, flashing away, but the stun is still there to follow up by Viego. He's just in no man's land, he's just gone. First blood, as clean as it comes for Lisa.
Yeah, really well played from the side of Peace, right? Holding their spells, not just going for it. There was a juke from Kyosei, but he juked himself against the wall and ran out of space, really more than anything else. So good first blood there by the side of Peace, and good first movements for the Viego in particular. Finds himself on the board very early. Just looking at top lane quickly, you can see the CS difference. My main point here was that Appy missed a lot of experience, not just the farm. Actually, the first wave, both Safa and Appy didn't get a single melee minion each, but that was because Safa was zoning him away. So pretty big difference overall. This wave will crash. You'll see that the CS is going to be about a wave, which is still big, by the way, 3 minutes in. But it's the fact that 6 will be there very fast for Safa in contrast to Appy.
He's doing whatever he can, right? Manipulating his energy bar underneath that turret to try and pick up as much as he can, but level 1 consequences, as you highlight, and that could be the difference. That could be the point of strength that Gravitas look to play to once again. Let's check in with bot lane note. Seems to be a little bit more even as it starts here so far. Sung the praises of Cheon as this Varus. Very keen to see what he can do on it this time around. As actually, no, we're going to return to mid lane. The stun is there once again, and I'm liking this understanding between the mid jungle of Peace to say, I'll stun first, let's see what we can bait out from Kyosei. At least we've then got that continued damage source going towards him.
Yeah, and the wave's in a really good spot for Peace to continue to be a pest, right? Just annoy him, threaten the ganks. You probably see a Zeus have to play around mid lane a little bit here, just to kind of protect him, maybe even push the wave in. He's going to be spotted on a ward with the way that he's moved here, but the wave crashes, so it doesn't matter. And Kyosei at least going to trade back pretty well. We've got eyes on... Yeah, Lisa's not going to find it. But that pressure is almost insurmountable. Towards your point in bottom lane as well, very different with the way both of these bottom lanes are going to play. Leona can be aggressive, but into a Braum, pretty risky. There's an exhaust there for Zingy as well, and the cleanse for Cheon. So it's all about surviving the lane. My God, give the man a break.
For that Kathmandu sponsorship, really, aren't they? They're definitely camping up in the mid lane. Look at make Kyosei's life a living hell. We've talked about how strong both the mid lane and the top lane of Gravitas can be, and if Peace can look to try and find an early advantage, then that may be enough to find themselves a point of strength as a whole. Very curious to see how it does play out, though, as Tully's going to look to try and look at his wave in his favour. Has brought the attention of Floppy to come on through and help crash this wave, so Peace don't have all the fun.
And mid lane is won through side lanes and junglers, right? A lot of the time, yeah, you might get a solo kill in mid, but if the enemy jungler's nearby, it's impossible to get a solo kill. If the supports are roaming, it's impossible to engage in mid. It's just because, like, again, mid lane is kind of the conduit to the rest of the map. It's very easy to play through it to the sides. You see the pressure from Peace means the response is there from Gravitas. Both teams then play through mid. And still, overall, like, the kill is good in the hands of Lisa. But the farm is fine. The farm's pretty even. A similar thing to be said bottom. You know, it looks good for Peace, but this wave's pretty big. It's about to equalize a lot of that difference. Everyone just pretty casual. To me, the point of difference is actually top. Appy's done exceptionally well to bring back that rough little start at level 1 to a winning position.
Yeah, what, down 10, now plus 10, right? He's done a phenomenal job to bring that one back, and you know, we sung his praises. This is such a versatile player to, you know, start as a top laner, be put into position, off support, then back to top again. He fulfills the role for his team, and certainly is getting it done here in a do-or-die next set of games. Yet to really see Zeus's impact on this game, and whilst he's slightly ahead of Lisa, given the fact that he hasn't gone for any of those ganks, he may just be looking for a full clear into level 6 and hit the ult switch for his first contribution.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big moments for any Nocturne game is what happens when the ultimates are available, when Paranoia is on the board. Syndra is pretty good for some, you know, engage, some follow-up perhaps. Leona is definitely the place you'll be looking at. And it's not necessarily ganking bottom lane when I say the Leona, but wherever Floppy goes. It could be mid, it could be top. You've just seen a map flip here as well. Skimmy, 7 minutes and 30 seconds in, usually going to be for the Herald, but it gives a window of opportunity to actually make a play, and they are looking in mid lane. To no avail. It's actually, like, if you make this flip, you probably want to put the Leona mid with the Nocturne before your Aphelios shows top, just because, again, you've kind of revealed your hand. And Tally's too experienced for that.
Seems to be the case right now as Appy shrouded from the potential gank that was coming out there from Floppy. 3 members strong, looking for their first fight. There is a Zeus now at level 6.
Herald being done almost in their face. Got Safa bot lane with teleport in hand. I wonder if they look at this at all. Seems like they want to.
Everybody coming together, but Safa has not contributed to TP. They've stolen it away, even without the 4v5. It doesn't matter. Exhaust onto the Nocturne, but can they find the kills? They've taken it. They've taken another, and they'll take it all.
I mean, Peace, what more? You know the bottom lane's there. You know that they forced priority top lane against that Akali, so you're going to be going against the grain a little bit to even force that Herald take. They have flipped the map for that express purpose. Not only do they steal the Herald, they get the kills for it. That's a big win here for Gravitas. The only tragedy is that Floppy's the one who collects that first kill. But at the end of the day, the kill goes their way. The Herald can be summoned top lane, some plates to follow. This is a very big winning position for Gravitas.
And now, a 4-member strong protection squad. They're to zone away Tally from a big wave. Not only from the XP, but from the gold, but also from the potential to look to try and contribute anything as a result. Here comes Zingy. Looking to lock him in place, but also a deterrent to say, get out of here.
Yeah, I think in Gravitas's mind, Peace were giving that turret. So they try to be very greedy here. Azusa looks towards the Gromp camp, but gets contested, has to spell shield and walk away. It means the charge will go off, but the turret won't fall. And when you look at the bottom side of the map, I think, because again, the Varus was farming down there as a no teleport Varus, they would have said, well, this is a free turret, but hey, it survives. It stays standing. It will mean about an 800 gold diff, but free farm for the Varus bot lane. I think Peace will take that.
It's worth noting, coming into this game, in the last 10 games that both these teams have played, they've actually got a very even percentage of acquisition for their first hero, both sitting at 53%, being quite content in either way going for it, but Gravitas clearly a game plan there, flip the map state, make it work in our favor, and even though they weren't the ones to get on it first of all, the steal away and the kills afterwards. Beautiful passage of play, that at 10 minutes has netted them a small but significant gold lead.
The Dragon is definitely a point here that both teams want, but neither team has put efforts towards. This is probably the moment that you'll see Peace get it for free, but that is again because Gravitas have been unrelenting in their pursuit for the top lane outer turret. So this will eventually go down. The thing that I really like here actually that Gravitas are doing is they're denying minions. So this isn't just like it wasn't just a hard push from Thomas Shen, we'll put it that way. Minions were constantly dying to the turret, and that was a place that was being zoned away, so it's denying gold, denying experience to the hands of Peace. And Chaeyeon is now down a level, down a little bit compared to Thomas Shen overall. And Gravitas feeling pretty confident with the map state at this point to flip back towards bottom. The only tragedy is that they will have to sacrifice the Drake in that time.
That's what they have to pay as the ultimate price. An Ocean Dragon that goes across in favor of Peace, as Safa will be carving back towards the top side of the map. He has rushed the Merc Treads, so making sure his individual matchup works in his favor, but at least the top half of the draft is going to be a little bit less vulnerable to the CC chaining and the damage potential that is available on the side of Peace. Curious to see how that one festers, as both have
got
himself a leeching leer, so looking to try and soak up a storm, but the gold so far, it's all Gravitas favored.
And the amazing thing about this is we look at Thomas Shen, he's farming a wave. We look at Chaeyeon, he's left responding to Thomas Shen, walking to that lane. Manamune picked up, rushed here, but has no boots, so he's always going to be a little bit slower to the punch. And again, that means a minion in every wave, or 2 minions in a wave, every single time that we see them. And this type of thing adds up very fast and can sneak up on you when you're not really paying attention to it. Azu's bottom lane will be spotted. I don't think you dive. I think you just sit here to protect.
Diving would have seemed just a little bit haphazard. Not the play this time, as Zingy will re-establish some vision control, but is the Scry's there? It is, just to clear things out once again. So the panic is still up and available here for Peace, as Zeus feigned a reset. He's come back again. Lisa is having to double back himself from his dragon back towards bot side to protect.
I mean, it's still not a dive angle, Skimmy. It really is just about protecting Thomas Shen and stopping Lisa from having any kind of gank angles. They clear so much vision away from Peace down in the bottom lane that they'll never feel safe. And I think as a result of that, it keeps Lisa on a very tight leash towards the bottom laners. Maybe even, you know, forcing teleports from Tally, protection, maybe movements from the Rise. We'll see how they choose to play it out, but I want to really reiterate that all 4 summoners are up here for Peace, and the only way this works is if there's multiple members. Teleports are there for Peace as well, so dangerous game that Gravitas are choosing to play, but they're getting away with it because they're not forcing, they are pressuring, which is a very different thing.
Yeah, and that pressure has resulted in a plethora of these turret plates falling down as a result. The biggest benefactor, Thomas Shen, once again. He's already got himself a sizable CS advantage, as you highlight, still retaining that 1 level experience lead. Very content with the right weapon setup, shred through even more. Tally will at least pick up some return in the mid lane, unprotected or uncontested. But it is a dangerous game that Gravitas are playing, but getting away with.
Tally's loving this, though. He's building a CS deficit for himself. He's had constant swaps of lane opponents, 150 CS, 14 minutes in. How do you do? Tally's loving that one. And he's going to be a monster Rise, right? He gets the Merc trade, survives the lane, gets good pressure from his jungler. Working towards his first full item soon. The Everfrost is the most likely path. And he's going to be a big, big issue for Gravitas. Now, Safa, I think, can navigate it okay. But Thomas Shen and Kiyose, not so much. This is a much more standard composition from Gravitas. Their tools for dealing with the Rise are there in the way of them going forwards. But if they're running backwards, it is a different story.
Really curious, given the amount of magic damage that Peace have, what build Thomas Shen will go for, because the Immortal Shield bow seems, you know, it's a guarantee. But we did see snippets last week, maybe to the dismay of some of the other AD carries in the league, as to a Wit's End second, which, if you're thinking, you know, your stereotypical Aphelios, it'd usually be the Rune Aunt from Infinity Edge, perhaps. Your typical one-shot. The Wit's End, you could make a case to say, well, it's going to give you the resistance to protect yourself. You don't have yourself the luxury of a Tahm Kench or anything else to look after. You're very much self-sufficient in this game, but do you have a stance on that item?
Yeah, my stance on Wit's End is it's broken. The fact that they gave it raw AD as an extra stat in there just made it a little bit too strong, I think. And in terms of picking it this game, there is value in that. I think with Tally and Appy going to be 2 of the main threats that are going to be like literally on your face, running you down, for sure. Shield Bow's going to do only so much, right? And there's just too much damage between all the threats running at you. But I don't know if Aphelios can afford to just go with, and I think he can. I think he maybe should.
Well, we'll get to see what variation we do get, because Collectors seems to be a bit of a staple regardless. Second Dragon, and everybody's here. They all want a piece of the pie.
This is a big moment. If Peace choose to fight this one, this is a very big moment for determining how this game goes. Fights on.
Chain of Corruption goes down and Chen instantly having to cleanse that one as he takes out Floppy. The resets are there, but now how many more can Lisa find as a result? Flashing away is a bit of a disconnect from the Gravitas camp. They picked up the Dragon, but the round whoop to follow! Surprise, surprise, it's not a disengage angle. It's a double kill. It's a 4-man wipe.
I want to say it's a must-win game for Peace here, but that was also a must-win fight above and beyond that. They choose to take the play. They come out on top in that play as well. And just really straightforward front-to-back team fighting that goes very their way. Azu's going to look here, but I think Zingy's going to do enough to deter that. So there will be nothing more and nothing doing for Gravitas. That was just a losing situation for them. It was messy. It was unrefined. Safa goes forwards, gets exhausted, has no mana, and literally just ints there. I think not having enough to use the Harrowing Mist. And almost in solidarity, Floppy goes in with him, and the Rise ultimate, we already can talk about the power of Tally, the player. give him the Rise ultimate and watch what he's able to get done on the back end of that fight.
Confidence of it all. We don't care about the Dragon. We need the kills, and that's enough for them to now find themselves in a powerful position. They get themselves the gold lead for the first time in this game. And that's important for the context of things that we'll reiterate. As you mentioned, this would be solely about the side lanes and the jungles. And so far, these side lanes here for Peace, very strong.
Yeah, side lane 1v1s, I do think are starting to swing further and further into the hands of Peace. Sapphire is obviously going to be his own beast with the Gwen. A little bit nerfed though. And champions like Rise can handle almost anyone in the side lane at a certain point of items. It's the Syndra that you have to really like. The thing with Syndra, obviously a great champion, obviously has a lot of merit, can be blind picked and can work, but you have to protect Kyosei if you start putting a Syndra in side lanes. And so you need to actually be a very good team because there's constant gaps in vision, right? Gaps in control. Maybe he steps up too far on one wave and gets punished, but like that small punish adds up incredibly fast. And now we're seeing a 40-odd CS difference right now between Tally and Kyosei. No matter how strong this Syndra gets, almost impossible to win a 1v1.
Well, let's see how Peace play to that idea. We've seen Rises time and time again sit to the side lanes and come a force to be reckoned with. So much so that they are a raid boss that literally nobody can deal with on an individual basis. Whether this game will follow that same trajectory, we'll have to wait and see. But it still feels like it's on a knife's edge despite Peace clawing things back.
Yeah, we've just seen like really nothing from Zeus. Mostly hovering, and Nocturne's one of those picks that in my opinion of this as well, it's not a universally believed thing, but I think if you go Nocturne and you don't actually have the ability to play aggressively at level 6 or with your ultimate, then you really should just be another champion. And that's like one of those angles where, like, unironically, Sejuani could have more use.
Oh no. Well, Floppy's redeemed himself regardless. There comes the flash. Oh, can they protect him? Ziggy's here! He knocks up one, but the turret will find the kill. It will be Ziggy that picks it up. Now Thomas Shen in a spot above over there. Here comes Zappy, missing the shuriken, but won't miss the perfect execution as he'll get that kill. You've turret dived our AD carry. We've taken a positive trade here.
Yeah, you may have killed the AD carry, but you definitely came to the wrong neighborhood. Peace with the teleport response. Very easy pickups here. And more gold going into their pockets, just inflating the gold value that Peace currently have. Still only within 2,000, but starting to feel like it's stretching out of Gravitas' hands here. Definitely started to get more and more out of their reach. I mean, plain and simple, the flash engage misses from Floppy, and the follow-up from Zeus there is still on, but you've got Zingy there, you've got Appy there, and that's it.
Response from Peace. Enough to continue having the gold lead in their favor. It was a fragile 1k lead before, now it's 2k, that's confident. Tally's still untouched. Everfrost Zonias. Soon upgrade that tier.
He's going for records, isn't he? 240 CS on the board at 20 minutes.
My point exactly. Talk about 10 CS per minute. He's breaking that. The speed of sound.
Chovy over here.
Whilst we have a bit of a lull in the action, worth noting, we do have ourselves a Varus with a Prowler's Claw. Now, things have changed. It was used to jump to minions, guarantee the ult. Now it's just the champions. Wonder what it can do in this team fight. As it breaks out, Gravitas lead the line, led by the Paranoia to start things off with, and that's just the floodgates open as a result. Gravitas fighting so many kills! They're just gonna get the ace!
Yeah, I mean, really clean team fight. 4 gone. Only the Akali left standing. 21 minutes in, Skibby. We're going straight to the Baron buff. And I mean, that's the moment that we were waiting for, right? You saw the last Dragon fight. It went the way of Peace. You saw the attempted mid-dive. They missed the execution. It swings the way of Peace. But this time around, because the teleport was used by the Akali to get there last time, they finally see their window of opportunity. And Peace hold the door open for them.
Confidence brewing and exuding. Look at the beauty. You were critical of Zeus. He gets exhausted, but that wasn't enough to stop this.
But it's the whole team working around him this time, right? It's the flank from multiple angles. The actual pints are there. And it's not necessarily a Zeus playing the Nocturne. It's the team using the Nocturne. This time it is successful, and they do prove me wrong.
Still very curious about this itemization on the Varus. Have to wait and see how it plays out though. Gravitas have flipped the game. A 4K surge of gold in their favor. Baron buff for the taking. They're not willing to risk a fight to contest that third dragon.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I believe it was a flat lethality nerf on Prowler's Claw. Or it was the lethality per item. Whatever it was, I believe one of the reasons it switched back to Duskblade is just because it has more flat lethality in general. So that advantage that Prowlers gave was made kind of redundant. And you also can't go through minions now to find crazy engage angles.
Yeah, my point.
But nothing really
crazy.
would have made a difference in that last one, Skibby.
Well, he wasn't jumping anywhere else, was he?
No, just dying.
But it's all tied up here. 7 kills to 7. And it is Gravitas using their Baron buff to fantastic effect. Now playing in the bot map. Themselves a big wave. Cannon to boot. Pops up in healthy. And are looking to try and synchronize a 1-4 split as Safa pressures mid lane as a result too.
Yeah, Baron buff, it's always really difficult to defend the inner turrets. Gwen is immune, by the way. They may look for something after that immunity drops. There's ultimates used.
Yeah, well, both supports actually chucking their ultimates out, but a bit of a non-committal ultimate at just that. Zingy just dies from 50 million miles away. Moonlight Vigil is OP, but in comes Lisa. He's become a Syndra, and now can he do God's work and hit them with some big orbs from afar? They found 3 members. Zingy was the casualty, and Appy's sitting pretty on the flank. Thrown away by the Aphelios turret so far. They're taking a bit of damage from it. They're going to be careful with it, because between the Aphelios and a Gwen, certainly enough to push them back, even in a 2v4.
Yeah, they do push them back. They stop any kind of just winning situation there for Peace. I mean, the Baron gets forcibly subsided, right? They do get kills. They get gold injection once again. And Peace are not going down without a fight, and they're really pushing Gravitas to their absolute limits. If Gravitas want to win this game, they have to go above and beyond is what they're saying. But ultimately, right, Kyosei just gets himself the free kill, tries to flash away, and Appy finds the angle. And Varus has been hitting those piercing arrows the entire time. They choose to fight, right? They don't just use paranoia and disengage. Gravitas say, we will take this. And ultimately, while it is a losing outcome, you can see the fight that they actually have. The individual mechanics still definitely there. But the turret's going the way of Gravitas. It's still their advantage from the Baron overall.
Sheer power and the confidence from Gravitas. We talk about the head-to-head working in their favor. They're 2-0 up against Peace. Heard it from Floppy in his interview with Nat saying, we don't want to talk about that. This is the third variation of a Peace roster that we've played against, but we want to cement ourselves as saying we are just flat out better than Peace. And, well, if they can hold you back 2v4 like that, good signs.
Certainly is. And the Aphelios is just starting to get more and more items on board. No Wit's End, just to bring that one back quickly, which is okay. You've got the shield bow. And Cleanse is going to help a great deal. But it's gone for the Collector with Infinity Edge, so finally on 60% crit going to be there. 3 items done for the man who was given everything early. Is going to be a pretty big deal. And stopwatch checks. Before every single team fight, when you've got the Viego there, you have to consider stopwatch checks. Not only will it save you from perhaps a lethal execution there from an Akali, if you stop the resets from a Viego, then you're doing very well for yourself and for your team to win the team fight overall. The other item that I wanted to bring up just quickly, Skimmy, as well, is the Anathema's Chains. Leona's one of those champions that doesn't need a mythic. We've seen Abyssal Mask rushes for Leona. This is no exception, very similar. Of course, less resistance is more health, but W and Aftershock do enough of that. And it means that you can CC someone just to the moon. Merc trades just become so really, really crucial. And something that we have to point out here for the rookies of the team. Not a Merc trade to be seen.
And no tier 2 boots at all for the Varus. As we wait to see what that can become. Yeah, as you say, brown bags. He's got himself the cleanse. Now he's got himself a stopwatch, to your point. Those could be the biggest talking points right now, because look at Gravitas. I am seeing 4 stopwatches. It's very hard for Gravitas to find or actually get reset upon by this Viego.
Oh, Appy better be a fast runner. He better have been watching those Olympics.
Being caught out of position. In a 1v4 situation, the rest of the team aren't here to back him up. No, they're looking to try and gank Sapper down bot side. It is a battle of the top laners. Who can survive and live the longest? As the Solar Flare won't connect, but it won't matter because the sheer numbers advantage is enough. And now Peace feel a burden of execution to say we have to do something here.
Sapper, I thought may even try and use his ultimate there, but I forgot that he has a W, and it's just... I just get upset watching it. Tally tries to use the Everfrost. It's just immune. Mid lane outer turret will fall, but the thing is, it's Peace playing for Dragon while Gravitas play for Baron. And it's been long known that Peace were pressuring bot lane, so Sapper plays as respectfully as possible. Ryze ultimate's coming in, Skimmy. They want to get to the Baron in time.
They're running towards it, aren't they?
Zeus
The Baron
no
is still very topped up and healthy, but Zeus, as you say, has no HP. He has no ultimate either.
I don't know if this is good, but they're going.
Sapper wants it, doesn't he? He flashes forward with the mist aggressively, hits the needlework, but gets locked in place, goes golden for a fraction of a time. Tally comes out of his status, and he realizes that I need to live, but he falls on down. Somehow Floppy lives, and Thomas Shen gets exhausted, but he flashes forward aggressively. He does not care. He's got himself a double kill. He's not going to get jumped upon as Appy looks for the one shot with the perfect execution. The lights go out, and that's a triple kill now for Gravitas. And this team, oh, they are putting on a show tonight.
And you know Thomas Shen was calling, give me the Penta, but the rest of the team say, go to Baron, let's play really normal standard League of Legends, because that was just winning for us. 3 kills in the hands of the Aphelios. And we asked questions earlier in the split, where is Thomas Shen? Why is his team 4v5ing while he is not to be seen? Well, Thomas Shen shows up this time, doesn't he? And exactly in the right moment for the squad who are vying for that final playoffs position. We'll see this again because realistically, like, sure, it's a good triple for T Shen, but you've got yourself a monster in Floppy trying to find these angles, find these engages. Good cleanse, flash forward with the collector, crit, execute. Couldn't ask for more, and Appy, he sees the moment here, thinks he has maybe enough damage, but remember that they changed Akali so that you can't Q while you're in your E-dash. And now remember that the difference in health may have been that he Q'd sideways while he was R'ing instead. Very tragic moment there for Appy.
Tragic moment really on both sides, because how does Floppy confidently engage at 10% of his total HP and live? Some things I'll never know. Gravitas, they feel a little bit possessed right now because they feel, well, they're playing like they have an agenda. 2 Baron buffs now, confidence in these team fights, not scared by the opposition having these resets. The stopwatches, the Zonias doing everything they needed.
They've done a lot of work here, and Peace, they're actually staunching in this exact spot, and they're saying you can't contest us. Varus going to hit poke. You've got Sapphire pushing mid here, however. They've completely skipped the steps of vision. Sapphire could be in trouble, but he's able to cover some distance, and, well, they just play with Peace. They don't set up properly. They just play with them, run them around instead.
Sapphire gets away with murder there. Everybody coming towards him. And a basic ability says you can't touch me. Literally a skip and a slash.
I really don't like what Gravitas have done here, though, because their vision control and setup is not good enough in their blue side quadrant. They're opening up plenty of avenues of attack for Peace to find flanks on both Sapphire and the 4-man squad. But so far, they've been navigating it carefully, and that's what needs to be done.
Cheon is vulnerable. He just burnt that cleanse. Moonlight Vigil's also being used. Glacial Fissure just connects with the Thomas Shen at the end of its tether. The Solar Flare is there. Up goes the door. Sidestep that engage. And now turn the lights off. This is a very deep engage to try and take him out anyway. He goes gold and he prevents the reset. And now in comes Sapphire looking for that game-winning play. He flashes away and lives the tail just a fraction longer. Appy gets rooted for far too long. He flashes on forward to get it, but there's another stopwatch preventing him. He'll take 1 kill. But now can he turn it around to try and take out Kiyose? The rest of the team are there. He'll flash on forward. Scattered a weak. And he was quite weak. The game is done. The turrets are exposed. The base is in tatters and there's no one to protect it except for Tally. 1v4, what can he do? He goes golden, but there's damage to follow it up and take him down. A battle for the 5th and final playoff spot. And this feels maybe like the defining moment.
Yeah, it feels like Tally puts in a heroic effort to get some farm, get ahead in the game, but that one snap decision in mid lane, 4 members going. The Herald fight earlier in the game, a couple of really bad moments there for Peace to reflect on and to improve on if they can tomorrow. Because again, this team needs to stay 1 win ahead on the standings to everyone that they're competing with for 5th place. And they've just started that off by losing to Gravitas, a direct competitor. and now Gravitas are ahead of them on standings.
Crazy set of circumstances here to round out the night here to the start of week 8. And Mac, I put faith in them. It was looking good for a fraction, but Gravitas just seemed to have them wrapped around their finger.
Oof. Yeah, well, as the late and maybe great Pauline Hanson sometimes said, please explain. I have no idea what just happened, but even though Tally had, did he have a Flame Horizon at one point, or was it never actually a Flame Horizon? The man had so much farm, but then Kiyose managed to not let it turn into that 100 CS advantage. But no matter what, it just seemed like Tally couldn't get an angle into a lot of their fights, so just couldn't have anywhere near as much impact as what the CS said he should have had, and it was just super unfortunate because Peace looked pretty damn good. I liked their draft, I liked their comp, and it just didn't play out. Gravitas just kept on getting everything going for them from this mid-game. I think this team fight in particular was the turning point. From here, it was just like, oh, cool. Baron, what's up? And then the next Baron, and then a couple of great, well-played team fights as well. You had Floppy dancing around there and surviving on, I think this would have been 10 HP, maybe 5 HP. You look at how thin the line of health gets right here, there. Look at it. There's no red. There's a pixel of red there. It can't be much. Had to be about 10 HP. Ridiculous scenes coming through. And then Gravitas managed to go for that deep fight under tower in base. And from that point, it was done.
Yeah, I mean, that fight you just saw was basically the moment, right? Baron gets picked up, the gold lead grows, Kiyose literally just removes Chaeyoung from the rift, and that really was it for the rest of that game. I will just quickly say, Mac, without getting political, Pauline Hanson neither late nor great. But
well, she's late.
But Gravitas were great in this game. And we'll move on.
Anyway,
I wonder, Mac, if this is the gauntlet version of Thomas Shen. Is he rare holo? Is he a special card that you have to unpack maybe once in a blue moon? Because he certainly pulled a rabbit out of a hat there. He just got it done, right? Gets exhausted, instant cleanse, flashing forward. I don't care. I've got a collector. And I've collected a triple kill. The man's a machine. And where was that at the start of the season? I wonder.
Well, good question. And someone that loves asking questions, as we heard earlier tonight and every single night here on the DoorDash LCO, is Nat. So let's bring Nat back in. She's pretty good on the question asking. You're a wordsmith. You know, you're fresh on the scene here in Australia. And you've got another fresh, probably extremely happy individual down on the sidelines after that dub.
Well, I'd be very surprised if he isn't happy, but I am going to be joined by Safa. Congratulations on the win. How do you feel? You guys now have a 3-0 record against Peace.
Hooray! Woohoo! Yay! No, it feels really, really good. Like, overall, I think the team's pretty happy with where we are at the moment.
I could imagine. I mean, you can't come off that one and be too disappointed. Now that mid game, though, you know, it was looking a little bit shaky for you guys. Were you worried? And what was the game plan to get back into the game and secure the win?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is everyone's super surprised that we actually are versatile, and we did not need to play the top side this game. We did not need to, you know, constantly repeat gank me and try and look at it. I think we showed a different style of Gravitas today, and that the team can definitely work in other ways. And I think that took them by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are clearly working on a lot of things behind the scenes, and you brought it out today. With the drafting phase, was there anything that took you by surprise that came out from Peace, or was this something that you were expecting?
Honestly, I think it kind of played out how we expected it would. I think we kind of predicted how their draft would play out, how their team is, and what their identity is. And I think overall, they put priority into their top side. They put priority, like Lisa especially likes to play around his top side and not so much their bot. So me just having to do my job on weak side, you know, making sure I'm not dying, and then disrupting in team fights, and just, I mean, I was just flashing after Varus after like during every fight. So I guess end of the day, everyone just did their part. So I'm really happy with the team.
Yeah, you knew what you had to do, and everyone did it quite beautifully. At what point or what moment, team fight, anything like that, were you guys, yeah, this is it, this is our game to win? What exact moment were you thinking that?
After the Rift Herald, I think definitely Peace just fall apart right after the Rift Herald. Obviously, there was some shaky things in the mid game, but if they didn't get the Rift, then they were just going to fall apart. They had to play from behind. They always had to play after our turn. So I definitely think the Rift Herald broke them.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and giving an insight into your viewpoint during that game. Congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great post-game celebration. I think it probably could use some work and maybe some extra people around him just as excited. But look, in the day and age we live in, we can't have that right now. So hopefully down the track, LAN will come back at some point, some year. Who knows when at this point.
Soon, TM.
Too soon. Too soon. Anyway, that is that for the games, but that's not that for the Little Old Awards. We do have the DoorDash player that delivered, and I won't keep you all waiting. It is your boy, Thomas Shen. Look at him go down to the bot lane, man. Had so much money. He was bowling, just throwing those notes out everywhere for the rest of the team, saying, you want some, you want some, you want some, you get some. And he did a good job too. 82% kill participation, 8 kills, 2 deaths, 6 assists. And really just dishing out so much damage in those team fights, as opposed to some other times when we've seen Thomas Shen, you mentioned it during the broadcast, not be there at the team fight, somehow be somewhere wrong when the team fights are happening. However, he was always where he needed to be today, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the team played very actively around him. I like what Safa said in that interview as well, that it doesn't have to be played around topside. I think the main takeaway is that Safa may be a point of communication, but the team can win through everyone on the board. And we saw, even last week, right, some big performances from Kyosei in mid, but today it was all Thomas Shen all the time. He was supported, he was enabled, and he put in the work to get the dub for the team when they need it most.
It's beautiful work from the man, and he's going to be able to feed himself with that $100 DoorDash voucher. So thank you so much to DoorDash for that. And I'm sure he'd like to say thank you too. I guess we could find out next time we do talk to Mr. Shen. But that also brings us to your next favorite segment, the play of the day. Now, I'll give you 10 seconds, 10 whole seconds. Start
I don't
thinking.
need it, Mac.
You don't?
I don't.
Right, well, you go first.
I'm going
then,
straight for the
Skinny.
juggler. I'm going to talk so long that it makes that 10 seconds happen for these two. I'm going for the Legacy team fight with a down 7k to hit the wombo combo. Beautiful, mate. I love to see it.
one.
Well, Skinny's one because he got in first. That's all I'm saying. Nat, you have a different one?
Do we have to pick differently? Because I would really like to pick that one as well.
Okay, well, I'll give you a good bit of news, and that you're all correct. Good job. It was Legacy in the game earlier against Pentanet, where they were very far behind, but still managed to hit a nuts ult here, I believe, off the back of Incursio, and then it turned into a banger team fight. Look at that 3-man knock-up. Big damage coming out there. And, Nat, are you taking notes?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sounds like a convincing yes.
Yes, I've taken so many notes. I'm so pumped for this, so I'm going to do Jubes
Notes
proud.
out of my mind.
I hope Jubes is in chat, and he's going to be proud of me, whatever comes out of my mouth.
He probably will be.
Going to be
Go
the
for a little bit of Nat by Jubes.
Hit
Nat
a
by
Duplay.
Jubes.
Hit a
This is a
Duplay.
long clip,
Jubes
by
by
the
Nat.
way, Nat.
It is really long. I don't know if I can talk for that long, but we're going to try anyway. We see Decoy jump in first. Styles going to jump on the outside. Poppy's trying to get in. Sybil, it doesn't matter about him because Bypanther jumps to the backside. And then we just see them sort of like group up as PGG. And then I'm just not even talking fast at this point because this clip is so long. We're going to see the game, the play take a while because Sybil's going to go into Zhonya's. And honestly here, you think PGG could turn it back, but Legacy, they just hold on. And that's going to be like, it's just a good play.
Did you hear the beat drop from the production team there? Did they switch it up? That was clever. It was clever. I like it. I like
They
it.
did
Well
switch
done.
up. What do you know? Well, Nat, look, I'm going to put this one out there. That wasn't your best performance.
No,
We've seen your
it
best
wasn't
performance. It was
just really
almost
long.
there. It was
It was
been
just
a
really
long day,
long.
Right? It's been a long day.
I don't know how Skimmy stays so hyped for such a long play arc. I'm impressed. Every day, you guys come in here and you impress me more and more.
I think the secret is you just smile. I swear it makes everything so much hyper when you're like, whoa, this is so exciting. Look at all the crazy things. There's colors, there's shots, there's death. It's crazy. Now, we do have to get towards the standings and have a look where all the teams are currently sitting because are we tied up anywhere on the ladder? I think we may just be down towards the bottom.
Look at fifth.
3
Look how crazy.
fifths. That's a lot of fifths, and still no one out in front of the pack, although Gravitas does have that 3-0 over the top of Peace, so they've got that going for them. Legacy head-to-head with Peace. I don't think we've seen that third match yet, have we?
Gravitas have head-to-head against Legacy, so just keep that in mind.
Okay.
And I believe
Oh.
Legacy also have head-to-head currently against Peace.
Yep.
So the only thing I would change, I need to confirm that, but I think the only swap here is that Peace should be below Legacy. And while it's tied, it's technically not.
Okay.
Gravitas do have it on Legacy. You are right. And obviously Gravitas have it on Peace.
Ooh.
And
Gravitas
Peace,
for the Kings.
Legacy do have it on
and
Peace,
Legacy
yeah.
definitely have it on Peace, yeah.
So Gravitas are fifth, kind of fifth. Peace
Yeah.
are fifth, kind of seventh. And Legacy are fifth, kind of sixth. So that's pretty much what we're trying to say there. It's all shuffled about. It's crazy. It's business, and it's probably alphabetical. But at the same time, Mammoth still unable to get that second on the board. We thought there might have been a chance today, but it didn't go too well for them from the mid-game point. And up the top, a big congratulations to Direwolves because they are highlighted there as well. They weren't highlighted at the start of the day, but they got that W on the board. Legacy copped an L, and that's exactly what Direwolves needed to get into this position. So, the rest, the next 3 days of games, are all about who's going to be coming fifth. The others, yes, they may shuffle around, but that's not what we're here for at this point. We're just here for the action.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Also, I don't know what alphabet you're looking at, Mac, but in my alphabet, P does not come before L.
That's probably true. I was going to point that out. I didn't even look at the linguistics of the letters at the start. I just said it's probably alphabetical because sometimes it is.
You think so, but production was like, not today, Mac. Alphabet, out the window.
Well, I'm a dunce, and that's
Got 4
okay.
minutes, Mac. We've got 4 minutes.
4 minutes?
How long we got left before we wrap it up?
Well, quickly, let's have a look at what's coming up tomorrow. We'll throw up the schedule and see what games are here because Rusty's got an Olympics to get to. Good luck getting on your flight, mate. 6 p.m, Peace and Mammoth going head-to-head to kick things off. 7 p.m, Order and Pentanet. That could be a banger. Can Order tie for first? It's certainly a possibility. 8 p.m, Legacy and Direwolves. Very important game for both of those two. And at 9 p.m, we got Gravitas and the Chiefs. Now, Gravitas playing out of their minds. Chiefs had a bit of a rough one today. This is supposed to be their patch. I guess we'll see once we get to the end of tomorrow. But that brings us towards the end of today. Quickly, Nat, which game is the game of the day?
Last one, 100%. You've already said it. You know, Chiefs were claiming that this is their patch. We see them sort of falter at the start here on day number 1 of this patch. Gravitas proved that they don't always have to play topside. Chiefs thought they had them figured out. Maybe it's a whole new Gravitas that can capitalize on what Chiefs thought they knew.
Oh, very, very true. Now, Rusty, am I doing this fast enough for you? Are you happy? Are you excited?
We're all
Mate,
turning into Skimmy.
All that matters is the men's basketball quarterfinals are on. I'm rooting for Australia against Argentina. That's it. Let's go the Aussies.
Well, hopefully that goes well for you. Skimmy, any final words today? I know you two aren't going to be here on the show tomorrow. It's going to be Jubes and Elfish Guy back on the chat.
Nah, nothing for me, mate. I'm just looking to try and furiously find something that I can cheer on for the Kiwis, but I can't find it quick enough. So
You can watch basketball with me,
wrap it up,
Skibby.
mate.
Very true. Oh, well, we can all go watch the basketball maybe, but that's it for the League of Legends. That's it for the DoorDash LCO. We need, well, I don't really need to be anywhere. Do you need to be anywhere, Nat? I think we're just sort of chilling at the moment.
I think I could go for another hour.
Yeah, we could go for another hour?
Yeah.
Talk show
Let's run
time?
it back.
Talk show time.
No, I can see the frustration on his face. I don't want him to blow up
I've
at
got a
me
second
again.
screen here. I could just watch it.
Oh, he
to
probably
be
could.
clear.
But look, I don't want to put you through it, Rusty, so we're going to close the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us here on the DoorDash LCO. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Stay safe.
Do Max thing.
Come back. He's gone for the crab. He's going to get stunned out here. The bomb on his head again. That's lights out 2 times in a row. Deja vu. Stopwatch there for Chungy. Oh, knocking up to as well as Beats goes. I'll stop it for a second right now. Immune to damage, you'd have to say. Draxi flashing away, but Kevy soon to follow, looking for that kill. And the ultimate's there to secure it. Thumbs up, lights out, double kill. It's written in the stars. The Baron is destroying them. TP comes in. It's in smite range. And a one-man petrifying gaze. Shot to navigate the vision denial as cleanly as can be. He's in a 1-for-1 against Nectar. He takes him out. Protected by Claire, TPing in. The backup is there. Now, how many of these Baron buffs can you remove? Claire died before, but he picks up a double on his return. Caught on that one, isn't it? Pillar into vision, into a fact of having to flash away. Now Biopath has separated the team. Byro charges into 3 members. And Magnastorm catching a place 3. This one is a big turnaround for Legacy. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Amel could have fallen on down. It becomes a 2-for-2. But can they find any more? He needs a shutdown, and he finds the shutdown as Winter means business with the realm of depth. Some turrets.
Desperate engage attempt here.
He is. Amel could be the world. He jumps in with the Magnastorm. The encore to follow. Big deceiving range. A shockwave to bring back 2 members. And that's enough to get the 2 main carries on PGG the kills.
If Peace choose to fight this one, this is a very big moment for determining how this game goes. Fights on.
Chain of Corruption goes down and Chen instantly having to cleanse that one as he takes out Floppy. The resets are there, but how many more can Leaf